B'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, we're going to continue in the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. We are on the 8th chapter in the topic of Dveikut, attachment to Hashem. B'ezrat Hashem, a teaching from Organuz tzadikim in Parashat Shalach. Yesh Ihud al Yedei Ashtika. There can be a unity with Hashem by way of silence. Kamo she'ita b'Shem Baal Shem Tov, like it's taught in the teachings of Baal Shem Tov. Saig lechochma shtika. So this isn't the Baal Shem Tov, this is Chazal. The rabbis say in Pirkei Avot, in the ethics of our fathers, a good proper fence for wisdom is silence. You want to keep your wisdom? Be quiet. Don't talk too much. כשהוא בשתיקה יכול הוא לדבק בעולם המחשבה שהוא חוכמה על ידי התורה. What did the Baal Shem Tov say on this teaching from the rabbis? A fence for wisdom is silence. Baal Shem Tov says, when you get into silence, you'll be able to cling to higher worlds of thought. Higher worlds of thought is another way of saying chokhmah, wisdom. And that happens by way of the Torah. You stay quiet, use your Torah now to attach to higher worlds. That's it. So what's a fence to wisdom? Meaning, how do you box yourself in, fence yourself in to get into wisdom? Be quiet. And while you're being quiet, you can unify to upper worlds by way of the Torah that you know and ascend to a higher place of unification. Another teaching. You should always, the main thing is to always be walking in a path of joy. And specifically when you come to connect yourself to God. Without joy, it is impossible to have Dveikut to Hashem. We need joy. See what a great grandfather Reb Nachman had? We can see where he got it from. Why did Reb Nachman want to be called Reb Nachman ben Fege?
His mother was joyous. She's so joyous.
Ben Simcha.
He's also Ben Simcha. But the way of the world is when a person dies in the Jewish world, we're called after our fathers. Reb Nachman is known throughout the world, Reb Nachman ben Fege. Why? Why did he want us to remember him by way of his mother's name? So his mother was the granddaughter of the Baal Shem Tov. Her mother was the daughter of the Baal Shem Tov. Right? Not only Reb Nachman's grandfather on his father's side was also really holy. That's where he got his name from. Reb Nachman Horadenko was one of the students of the Baal Shem Tov. But Fege, his mother, which by the way means bird, Fege, his mother, was like a mini prophetess. Right? Odel, her mother, was one of the students of the Baal Shem Tov. It wasn't the way classically that women got into such deep teachings. The Baal Shem Tov and his daughter had such a relationship that she was like the Rebbe's. She was like one of the students. She was like a Balatanya, she was like a Degel, she was like Toldot Yaakov. Like she was one of the Rebbe's. Not that she held a position, God forbid. Ishat Tznuah was hidden, didn't want to be seen. But when it came to Torah and Yediyah, she knew what the rest of the students of the Baal Shem Tov knew. Her daughter was also raised in that spirit. And she ended up inheriting her grandfather's house. So Reb Nachman, his parents lived in the Baal Shem Tov's house. Reb Nachman was born in the Baal Shem Tov's study. And Fege, his mother, would spend hours and hours and hours in Ukraine in an open field underneath a freezing cold air, davening at the kever of the Baal Shem Tov to Hashem, that her son will be successful, her son will have blessing, her son will be a tzadik, her son will have yirat shamayim, will be connected. So all of those tefillot that Fege did for Reb Nachman said, the amount of hours she spent at the kever of the Baal Shem Tov, for me, when I leave this world, I want you to remember me by way of her name. People don't know this that much, but it's an important thing to know because you realize, one, it teaches us what it means to daven for our children. Right? A woman was willing to stand outside in the cold of Ukraine to pray, and you don't have to have children to pray for them. I would highly recommend you pray before having the children, because if you start to pray when you have them, you might be too late. A few days old, they're already giving you a headache. Right? So pray before you have the children. Right? She for sure did that, and she also did that after she had the child. And for that, Reb Nachman wanted to show gratitude and ask people to call him Reb Nachman ben Fege. Dveikut be'otiyot. This is from the Rebbe Rayatz. B'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to see him on Sunday. Lubavitch Rebbe's father-in-law, the oil in Queens. B'ezrat Hashem, my favorite Chabad tzaddik, Rav Yosef Yitzchak. The smile. This is gula for bitachon and shmira, for protection and trust in Hashem. To look at the face of the Rebbe Rayatz. It's brought down by the tzadikim. Just looking at his face as a sgula is an auspicious thing to get more bitachon in Hashem and more protection in life. Zat Hashem, Sunday I'll be there, thank God, finally get to connect to such a tzaddik. He said in his letters, Dveikut באותיות התפילה ואותיות התורה בתורת מורנו הבעל שם טוב זהו אחד האמצעים הגדולים ביותר להתמיד בדרגות הרוחניות הגבוהות ביותר. The letters, attaching yourself to the letters of the Torah and the letters of the teachings and the tefillot was one of the most important ways that the Baal Shem Tov taught us, one of the biggest tools we have to become more successful in ascending to the higher spiritual levels. Attaching yourself to the letters of Torah and Tefillah. Dveikut. Omer Baal Shem Tov. What is Dveikut, says the Baal Shem Tov? It is the key that opens up all locks. And this idea of connecting yourself to words of prayer, of Torah, is in the hand of everybody to do this, says the Rebbe Rayatz. We're all able to attach ourselves to, what does it mean? To really put yourself in. Kol Yehudi afilu hapashut biyoter, every Jew, even the most simple Jew possible, can get to a very high level of Dveikut by way of attaching himself to the letters. It's known the Baal Shem Tov said, I don't want to say it if it's about to come up, let me see. He touches on it. If I don't get it through, I'll say it myself afterwards. Do another teaching. Organuz tzadikim parashat miketz. B'shem Baal Shem Tov. Haotiyot shebetorah hem kelim v'chaderim shel Hashem Yitbarach. The letters and the words of the Torah are vessels and rooms of Hashem, so to say. And by way of an intention of a person, he draws into it atzilut or elyon, the nobility, the loftiness, the proximity of the supernal lights into the letters. When you attach yourself to the letters, you draw down this godly light into the letters. Like it's written in the Zohar Kadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ve'oraita kol echad. Hashem in the Torah is one. U'letochan tzarich adam letet kol hakavana sheyeh neshama. And inside those words, you have to put all of your intention. What is your intention? That means your neshama. You have to put your neshama into what you're reading. Shezeu dveikut hakadosh baruch hu ve'oraita v'Yisrael kol echad. Then you get to the level of what the Zohar says in a different place. Hakadosh baruch hu ve'oraita v'Yisrael kol echad. Hashem, the Torah, and Israel are one. The real Holy Trinity. Baruch Hashem. Right? Am Yisrael, the Torah, and Hashem is one. How do you get to the point that you're included in that unity? You have to put your soul into the Torah. It's not just you read Torah and then all of a sudden you're unified with Hashem. Hashem is there. For sure, doing a holy thing attaches you to Hashem. But you have to apply your mind to it. You have to put your soul into it. B'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol meodecha, like we say in the Shema. All of your might, all of your heart, all of your passion, all of your might, all of your wealth, all of your soul. Put it inside what you're doing. Believe in. Be present, as we've been learning, right? עניין הדבקות בו יתברך הוא על ידי אותיות התורה והתפילה שדבק מחשבתו בפניותו בפניות הרוחניות שבתוך האותיות. You have to take the inner aspects of your mind, of your soul, of your heart, and attach them to the inner aspects of the letters that are in front of you. This is the secret of Yishakeni minishikot piu. He will kiss me from the kisses of his mouth. We say in Shir HaShirim, right? We want to kiss Hashem on the mouth. We don't want to kiss on the cheek. Mouth to mouth. What does that mean? Dveikut rucha berucha. Attaching spirit to spirit. We've talked about this before in the Beit Midrash. When two people kiss, right? They're exchanging their energies. They're exchanging spirit. They're attaching one spirit to the other. And this is what the Baal Shem Tov says. We learned this in the past, we'll say it again. Im tishkivun ben shefatayim. If they will lay down between the banks. That's the simple understanding of the verse. It comes from Tehillim in 68. The Baal Shem Tov said, what does that mean? Im tishkivun, you shall lay down, you should have meeting ben shefatayim, instead of the river banks, between your lips. Ben sefatayim. Shefatayim, sefatayim. Sefatayim is your lips. Where do you find Dveikut? Where is the number one place of attachment to Hashem in the human body? Right here. Where the breath comes in, where the speech comes out, where the kiss happens. This is the holiest part of your whole entire body. Right here. This is where you experience godliness the most. This is your gateway to connection to Hashem. Obviously, the rest of your body is too, especially the face of the menorah, right? We have the middle branch, the next one, the next one, the next one, that gives you the face of the menorah. The more you sanctify the face of the menorah, the more godliness you get in your life. You have to think when you're praying, when you're learning, that Hashem, so to say, is wrapped up in these garments that are the letters in front of you. Meaning, I don't know what you're thinking unless you start to speak. I'll only know what's inside your mind if you express it outwards. So what do I see by way of that? I can't know your thoughts unless you speak them out. So then what are the clothing that your thoughts wear? If we want to go into the world, we have to put clothing on. We can't go out naked into the world. So too, our thoughts are in our mind, so to say, naked, stripped from any clothing, any garments. If they need to come into this world, they need to come in with garments. What are the garments? Your speech. Your speech. The Yomar Belibo, you should say in your heart, Melech Gadol Kazeh Ani Oselo Lemalbush, such a powerful, lofty king, Hashem Yitbarach, I'm making clothing for him. I'm making garments for Hashem to be expressed in the world. I should do it with joy. I should do it with simcha. Vidaber bechol kocho. Pray, speak with all of your might. Ki bezeh naaseh achdut imo yitbarach. This is how you get to unity with Hashem. Ki kocho b'ha'ot u'va'ot shorei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Your power you put in the letter, and inside the letter is resting Hashem. Nimsahu achdut imo yitbarach. You get to complete unity with Hashem yitbarach. The Baal Shem Tov said, I'm going to say it outside because I don't see it written here clearly. The Baal Shem Tov said in every single letter and word in Torah, there's olamot, nefashot, ve'elokut. There's worlds, there's souls, and there's godliness. The worlds is all of the places that Torah, that letter is talking about. The world of Aleph, the world of Keter, joy, whatever, these spiritual worlds. And the tzadikim teach us how to find all of these words, all of these worlds that are inside these words. They teach us all the pnimiyut, all the depth behind it, right? The word me, for example, 2 letters, but that's bina. Now go on the whole entire world of what bina is. You go from 2 letters in Hebrew, from 1 letter in Hebrew. Aleph is made up of, Aleph has a yud on top, a vav in the middle, and another yud on below. What is yud? What is vav? What's a yud on top? What's a yud on the bottom? Just looking at one image of a letter can take you for days and days and days of Torah learning. So there's worlds inside of each letter. And alright, each letter is made up in Hebrew of other letters. Nearly every letter in Hebrew except for yud is made up of another letter. And the image, right, of it. Not only that, Aleph. Spell Aleph. Spell A first. The letter A in English. A. Spell Aleph. In Hebrew. Kobe, spell Aleph.
Aleph, Lamed, Pe.
Aleph, Lamed, Pe. Spell the Aleph of Aleph. Pe. Safid. Spell the Lamed. Lamed Mem Dalet. Spell the Pei, Pei Hey. You see what's going on here? From 1 letter, we already have now 8 letters. From 1 letter. So it's infinite. So you have worlds. You have neshamot. You have souls. What's that? You take your soul and you put it inside. You put it inside. You take your soul and put it completely inside that letter. Put it completely inside that word. And then you have elokut. You have godliness in each letter. In each word you have godliness. This is the mindset when you have to come learn Torah. The purpose of learning Torah is to connect to Hashem, not to get information. Understanding the information will help you connect to Hashem more. But if the goal is to connect to Hashem, so maybe when you look at the first word that you're going to say, strip it of its physicality and go inside the soul, the world, and the godliness that's inside there. And if that's how you approach Torah, I promise you you'll reach Dveikut. If it's just another textbook, you'll become wiser. Like the Rebbe Rashab of Chabad says, you'll have more ego for sure if you learn Chassidut. You'll get the ego, you'll get the wisdom. Don't know if you get God though. Tzat Hashem. Question on this?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So you were talking about how the nose and the lips are the holiest part of the body, right? Because it's our breath in and our speech out. Could you go into depth a little more on the menorah and how that connects? Like
Yes.
You were saying through your nose. And
Yes.
Through
Reb Nachman talks about it in Torah 21, Lekutei Moran, that in order to get Shef Eloki Ruach HaKodesh, 1/60th of prophecy, where you get divine intuition and you don't have to go from previous things that you learned, right? The person could learn this, and they have a situation come up in life. Because of what they learned, they know now, they had the introductions, what they need to do now. But then there's certain times where a person finds themselves in a desert and they don't have a GPS and they don't know to go right, left, right. Nothing that they learned would ever help them as an introduction to where to go. And they get a zap in their heart, turn right, keep walking, and just go, you're going to find a city. It wasn't from them. How do you get that? How do you put yourself in a state of mind where you can get that all the time? So Rav Nachman teaches in Torah 21 how to do this. He says you have to, in order to get this level of brain power, I'm doing a bad job because I'm saying it on one foot, right? But essentially, what we want is to have a spark of a flame in our heart that's always lit. How do you get a flame in your heart that's always lit? What creates heat in science? Friction. Friction, movement creates heat, right? Movement of energy creates more energy. So Rav Nachman says, according to the movement of your brain in thought, then you can create this fire in your heart. But there's two ways you can do it. I learned for so many years Torah, and I learned, and I go into my mind to pull out all of the filing cabinets of all the information I have, and the movement of the thoughts can create passion in the heart. And then I'll know what to do. That's the backwards way of doing it. Not that it's not the way you should do it, it's just, that's the back side. In relativity to the front side. What's the front side? The front side is that you don't do any of that. God just gives you the answer in your heart. God sets your heart on fire. But in order to get there, you have to be so holy and so purified. And in order to be holy and purified, you have to purify and sanctify the 7 gates. The 7 gates to the face, which is the face of the menorah. Your brain is the resting place of the neshama, which can hold down all of this godly intellect and influence that's coming from above to tell you what to do in life, to direct you in the right ways without introductions. So how do you get your brain to be such a purified, rectified vessel that it can hold such godly light, such powerful light? That's only by way of sanctifying the face. How do you do that? Not to tell lies or speak lashon hara with your mouth, and to use your mouth for positive, good things, prayer, Torah. Your nose is connected to Irat Shamayim, awe of heaven. Right? Everything we were talking about with Shimi, right? Fear of the punishment, fear of the greatness of God. You'll smell him out with the awe of Hashem, says about Mashiach. The ears are connected to listening to the words of the sages. You should ask for advice from the sages, and if you go, you should listen and apply it to your life. The more you listen, the more you purify your ears. And obviously, not listening to bad things and not listening to false, negative things. We're learning in the morning, right? Rav Nachman says about not listening to the books of philosophers and going into that world. Nachman says you shouldn't hear the words, you shouldn't repeat the words, you shouldn't have anything to do with what they said. Oh, he says this and we don't go like that. Don't even say what he said. It's poison in your ears. It blemishes your emunah, it blemishes your brain to repeat the words of these people in academia and philosophy that strip godliness and divinity from everything and try to make everything logical. So that's the ears. And the eyes, obviously you have to cover your eyes from looking at bad things, and you have to look at positive things, you have to look at good things. When you sanctify these gates, they are the gateways into your brain. Your brain, again, is the vessel, the resting place of your neshama. The more pure that the gates going into that place will be, the more pure that place will be. Then the light of Hashem will rest there more easily, and then that light of Hashem resting in your heart will send the flame into your heart so that you won't need the friction, you won't need the movement, you won't need anything. But you have to keep your brain pure in order to do that. And that comes by becoming holier, by way of sanctifying these gates. The more we do it, the better life gets, and then you get prophecy, and then you get levels of understanding that are above you, that didn't come from you, didn't come from what you learned. This is the secret of what David HaMelech says in Tehillim, Achov Akedem Tzartani. You, Hashem, formed me front and back. This is the backside. I have to learn a lot and do a lot. And there's a front side where I can just purify myself and the information comes.
I'm trying to think of a physical image, and I know we're talking about
Of what?
Not mundane things. Of the menorah. So are the
Middle branch. First branch out, next one out, and then that's
okay.
Your face is literally the menorah.
The
seven branches of the menorah.
But it's okay. I guess it's all connecting to the brain inside, though.
Your face is what's face in Hebrew?
Panim.
Why? What does pnim mean?
I don't know.
עכשיו אתה בפנים, ואם תצא מהדלת אתה תהיה בחוץ. So their face is called inner. Your face is called the inner. Why? It's telling you what's going on inside. Welcome to Sha'ar HaYichud, brother.